Hello, Professor.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I am okay. I'm okay.
You're looking great today.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
Today you look like, I don't know, more energy, more handsome. I don't know. It's not
I
flirting,
cut
by the way.
the crazy. I just cut the crazy. I trimmed the
Yeah,
crazy
maybe because
beard
of that,
finally.
you look like a more, I don't know.
Yeah, less crazy.
Yeah, it's not crazy. No, no, no. It's just
Well,
like because you're busy and you're sick. That's it.
just.
You don't have a mood to do anything. I know you don't have mood to do anything, right? When you are sick or when you are busy.
I know it is true. It's so true. How are you doing? How's everything? How's your family? Is everything okay?
They are okay. They're much better, but my mom's still on oxygen.
Okay.
But I tried to, like, as I told you, take it off like for a little bit, and then she turned it back. But
Okay.
maybe we're gonna
Okay.
see a doctor. Maybe, hopefully, she accepted to see us because they don't accept to see us until we did the test again to see if it's
Okay.
still a positive or negative.
I see. Okay. So yeah, you have
Yeah.
to get have to get the negative COVID test before you can go
Correct.
to the doctor.
To see a doctor. Yeah. The other reason we cannot go to see a doctor. So
Yeah,
she's still waiting. We're still waiting because they told us at least after 40 days.
okay.
Yeah. So hopefully everything gonna be okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, fine. I was reading the essay, the example essay.
Okay, what'd you think?
Like I like it, and maybe I'm gonna use some of your thoughts, not all of it.
That's the idea. I mean, I'm showing you the example so that you guys can use it,
And we can use it. Okay, sounds good.
But I
But
will say, I'm gonna show you the assignment sheet today. So, yeah, use some of the ideas. But remember, you're gonna talk about Kino or Juana, and that might mean some different quotes, some different
yes,
ideas. But that structure, this format, please use the structure. That's why I'm
okay.
showing it.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna use Kino because it's a more like a more effective person in this story, and a lot of words about him because he has a lot of shapes. Like says he's kindness, and then he's selfish, and then he's wild, as you said, and a lot of things.
I
So I
agree.
don't know. Yeah. So, but like maybe I'm gonna share it with the students when we begin the class. It's about the last paragraph. It's like a kind of conclusion.
At the end of the book.
Yeah. No, no, no. Of your essay that you wrote it already.
Oh yeah. Oh,
The example
yeah, we're gonna finish. We're gonna go. I'm gonna
today.
introduce the assignment sheet, and then we're gonna finish the example together.
Okay, sounds better. I thought like you're not gonna finish it today, or you just like are gonna skip it. So the other reason I was trying to talk to you about the ending or the
Oh
conclusion.
no, we'll look at it. We'll look at it together. I think I thought last week maybe we could do the whole thing, but we didn't finish last week, so for sure we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen today.
Yeah, just like I think 3 paragraphs left. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I was okay, perfect, but I think the conclusion I was just confused about I have some questions for you. So we're gonna discuss it with the students when they come.
You got it. That's exactly correct.
Yeah, so they at least they can, if they have a question or they cannot speak, so they can just get the benefit if I ask and you answer me,
I
right?
agree. Well, I hope so. I think that's my idea for all these Zoom classes, Linda, is even if students can't come or can't speak, then just seeing me talk to the students who can talk I think it's helpful. I hope it's helpful.
Yeah, it is, of course. For me, when I was absent, the questions or Frank did ask you or whoever asked you, I just I get benefit from that because maybe sometimes I have the same questions and I'm absent, right? Or I cannot talk or cannot speak. So it was good for me.
Good. This is my hope. This is my hope.
Yeah. No, you did a great job. Examples, posted everything, so you did a good job.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm really happy I'm really happy, even though, like I said, we only have a small group of people. I think
Yeah.
I'm really happy with people's focus and questions about the book. So
Yeah.
yeah. That's it though. That's it. Week 13. We're getting there.
Yeah. How many weeks left? I think 4, right?
Yeah,
Or
basically.
less. Yeah.
The paper will be due.
Where are you
You'll
gonna
see
go for Thanksgiving? With the family?
Yeah, well, same thing. Just stay close. Exactly. Yeah.
I know.
It's just always at the little, especially it's just to be here with the little boys, it's with the 6-year-old, 6, 4, and 1.5, almost 2 now, but
Oh, he's the
yeah,
funny
because
one. Maybe he's the one that he's just walking around. If he's
he
walking.
is, yeah, he started walking and talking like 3 or 4 months ago, and now he's just nonstop. 3 kids. It's just when we have students who say that they have, maybe they have 6 or 7 or 8 kids, I'm like, oh my, how do people do that? That is.
Yeah, my neighbor has 7. Now he has 7 one, like the little girl. He has about 5 months.
Do
They live
live
together.
But do they live with their mom and dad, or do they get help with babysitting? Because that's so many kids.
No, they are living with their parents, and they are, the girls, they are twins. The first 2 girls he has twins, and they are 12. And then I think 10, 11, 10, 9, 8, something like every 1 year she has a baby. I think like that. So she has 7. And they are just like, most of them, the girls just like have one brother.
It's so much work. It's so much work for mom and dad. It's just crazy. Hey, Aki.
Yeah, I know.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing well. But this week is busy because because next week is Thanksgiving week.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are a lot of events in this week.
Okay.
At kids' school.
Oh, is it what's going on? What kind of events at the kids' school?
Kind of lunch.
Okay.
I don't know, lunch, kind of party.
Okay, yeah. Thanksgiving party, holiday party, whatever.
Yes.
Like a holiday party?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, hopefully you'll get a little break. I know Thanksgiving means then the kids are at home. Do they get the whole week, Aki, or is it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah,
what's it like? The whole
so
week?
next week, next 4 weeks, my 3 daughters will be at home. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Good for you, Aki, to help you. Good for you to help you.
Lots of work. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Aki. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you, Linda?
Good. Thank you. Good for you if you have 3 daughters at home.
Yeah. 3 girls are too loud.
Too loud?
Too loud. Yeah. Very, very talkative. Oh.
How old, Aki? How old are your girls?
Almost 6 and almost 16 and 13.
13, 16, almost 16, 13, and 6. That's a range, right? That's a range.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So all this one is okay for me.
Okay. Oh yeah, the 16-year-old, she's good.
Yeah, but now teenager is almost staying at their room.
Yeah.
Always looking, PC or iPhone or
internet.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
16, that's a hard time.
Yes.
That's a hard time.
It is.
Yeah, it's hard.
For kids and parents,
Yeah. So they want they want to be independent from parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like they want to be free and independent, but then when they need help, mom, dad, I need you. It's like
Yeah.
it's like leave me alone until I need you, and then give me what I need.
Yeah, but now my oldest one is still not she doesn't get driver's license yet. So
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay. She can't. Yeah, she can't drive.
Yes. If
So she cannot go anywhere by herself. Don't worry.
Yes. Yeah.
It's different here because the American lifestyle, it's different from maybe your country or my country. We still living with our parents till we die, maybe, right? Most of us, especially if you don't marry, you're gonna stay living with your parents till you die. So we have this custom. Maybe here you cannot have it. And the generation of of kids, let's say, this generation is so different, way different from us before, or from you, or from anyone before, let's say before their age.
Yeah.
What's it like, Aki, in Japan? Do children stay at home, or do they leave right away? What's it like in Japan?
With parents. No. Yeah, because Japan is very small, very narrow. Small country. Yeah. So transportation is very convenient. So
yes.
Yeah, kids can move by themselves
with car, or with train, or public transportation.
Yes. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I think Japan, I don't know, I know some point is better than the United States, but some point is worse, worse than United States. So I don't know which one is better. I don't know. Both dangerous for parents.
Yeah, I think being a parent is hard anywhere, any country,
Yes. So depends on kids.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That is very
but I
true.
met a nurse. He's from Japan too. When my mom, she was in hospital, so we talked to him, and he get outside to talk to us. And I was asking him the same question, you live with your parents when you're a teenager, or you move here, different, here is different. And he said, no, I stay with my parents till I get 25, and then I get married, and I still was with my parents till I move here. So so it was kind of like our custom back in my country, the same thing. We cannot live by ourselves till we get married, if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know too, because Japan, like so many places in the world right now, you have older people, lots of tradition, and remember the past and do things in the traditional way, but then also things are changing, right? And there's sort of that trying to find the balance between the new ways and the tradition. Yeah, it's tricky. It's really difficult. Hey, Oscar.
Hi, Professor. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for asking.
Good. We'll start in a minute here. I'm just enjoying talking to Linda and Aki.
Thank you so much, Professor. We are enjoying talking to you.
Yes, thank you. Professor, one thing. I think improving technology is bad.
Is bad?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
So improving technology.
Yeah. Tell me why, Aki.
Smartphone. Smartphone. Yeah. I don't like. I really.
I think, Aki, your daughters give you a hard time by technology, or by using their smartphone, or whatever they have.
Yeah.
Too much.
Too much. Oh.
Yeah.
But I cannot pick them up.
Yeah.
Because they need for school.
For school. Yes.
it is, I talk with my sister, right, about my nephews. I just think that, you know, I love learning and teaching. I think information is really great. That's my job, is to help people learn new
Yeah, I
things.
know. Yes.
But, you know, it's really hard, like 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old with the internet. It's like, sometimes I just think it's too much. It's too much
Yes.
information. It's like too
Yes.
much knowledge, and they don't know how to understand everything, you know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's too much.
Yes.
Life is beautiful, but life is crazy sometimes, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I keep telling my sister's Amy, and I'm like, Amy, are you going to give them phones? Like, what are you going to do when they get old? I'm glad they're young right now. We don't have to worry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very convenient, but no good.
Yeah. Aki's like, no.
Yeah.
You
And
know, she is right, Professor, because if you use these smartphone, let's say, or tab or whatever they have, they're gonna even don't know how to read or write. They're not gonna be professional academic, let's say. So even their brain, they're gonna just like, if he needs something, he's gonna just go to the Google and search about it, right? He's not gonna bother himself, or she's not gonna bother herself to do research by herself or by brains, you know?
I
I don't
agree.
know, it's just like gonna affect her brain.
yeah.
I agree. I love, you know, excuse me, the way that I try to teach is asking you guys sort of interesting and difficult questions
Yeah.
that don't have a really clear or obvious answer, right? And this we usually call critical thinking, right? You think about an idea, you read a little bit, you talk to someone, you think a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I think this is a very important skill. And I think the internet is the opposite, right? It's like, ooh, I
Yeah.
have a question. I'm going to Google it. And then I get the answer right away. And then I don't think about it again. And I think
Correct.
that's something I worry about, is how the internet changes the way we think and ask questions. And that's my concern. That's something I worry about, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a part of knowledge is reading a book, like in a person. You just like read papers. I like that things. Like I don't want to go. Even sometimes when you post something like this article or this essay, I just print it out to read it because I like to
Yeah,
read papers. Like
I
yeah.
do too. I do too. There's lots of studies that research now also that shows the way we read paper and the way we read screens is different. It's not that one is good or bad necessarily, right? But it's just different. Our brain will process the information differently. I was thinking when you were speaking there, and Linda and Aki, let's see. I was trying to see, well, let me say this. I was looking up some vocab here. I'll go back again. In academic, you know, in US college, we talk about these two words, qualitative versus quantitative. These are both adjectives. They talk about how we learn things or how we research something, right? Quantitative is like a Google search. It means like, I want to know some facts, like give me the answer, right? Or if I wanted to do a quantitative research of, you know, how many hours people spend on the internet, I can look that answer up with a number, right? It's a specific number. That's one way to research things. The other one is this way that's called qualitative, right? Qualitative analysis. And it's, here's the definition: of or relating to how good something is, or of relating to the quality of something. I don't like this definition at all. Qualitative, I would say, is actually, instead of you focus on the number or a specific, one specific answer, it's about the process, right? It's about like, how did you find that answer? How long did you spend reading? How did you feel when you were reading? Did you write? Like, I think that type of qualitative research, thinking about the process, like how you do something, instead of just like what now, give them the answer right now. I need the answer, only the answer. That's the only thing that matters. I think that's a big, I think both are important, but I think we're losing some of this qualitative thinking. And I think that's a little sad.
Yeah.
The qualitative, it's kind of a specific, you mean, when you explain it now, it's kind of specific things.
Yeah, let me
mean,
see if I can find qualitative research. Let me see if I can find a better. Usually I love this website, you know, but I don't like that definition. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so this isn't even bad. This looks like it comes from maybe a specific business, but it says qualitative research is defined as market research. Okay, it could be any kind of research that focuses on obtaining, getting data through open-ended and conversational communication, right? And I'd say even this word open-ended is really nice because it means the opposite of true false, right? A or B.
Okay.
It's kind of like, well, I don't really know the answer. Like, let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Again, I would say I'm a very qualitative kind of teacher, you know. I like you guys to ask questions, think about ideas, talk about it. And maybe, you know, I've had students say, okay, Jeff, you know, when we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I didn't understand it at all. But then I thought about it a little bit more. I read the book a little bit more, and now I have an idea. That's like my dream as a teacher, you know, that's what I like. So that's kind of what qualitative means there, Linda, the way that I would use it, you know. Does that make some sense?
No.
Hey, Frank.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing okay. We're just going slow since we've got a small group here, but we'll get started right in a second. Uh-oh, Linda says she can't hear me. Frank, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I do.
Aki, can you hear me?
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
can you hear me? I think it is just you, Linda. I'm going to put it in the chat.
I can hear you.
Oscar's got me too.
I can hear you now.
Hey, okay, perfect. All right, well, we've got a very small group, but we've got pretty much everybody. Susanna might have stuff to do at work or with kids or whatever, but our usual group is here. Let's get started for today. I would love to just keep talking about language and culture and learning because it's so important, but your final essay is important. The example essay for character analysis is also important, and that's what we're gonna do today. So I didn't even have a PowerPoint because I'm just gonna keep going through the example essay from last week. But I also wanted to introduce the final assignment for this class today. Before I go into Canvas and we look at this together, are there any ideas or questions or anything before we get started today? Let's go. So I published this in Canvas. So if you go to assignments, and again, I'm going to turn on student view here for you. And you can see here now, it is in the upcoming assignments page, character analysis project. Up here, it says the Pearl character analysis project. That's the Word document. You know me, that's what I'm going to look at. But all of the information is here on this page, right? But I'm going to go and show you the one I have open already. So here's the document. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So let's read through the instructions and what you're going to do and all that good stuff. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. And this picture that I have in the document actually is from, as I said, this story takes place in Mexico. There's a very famous Mexican artist. His last name is Orozco. He's very, very famous in Mexico. And when this book was first published in the 1940s, he did 5 different sort of sketches or pictures or paintings from the book, and they were included in the original book, right? So this is one of those Orozco drawings, and this is supposed to be Kino, and this is supposed to be Juana there in their hut, right? So this picture is again from a really sort of famous Mexican artist, and it comes directly from our book. I can show you the other pictures too. They're pretty cool. But anyway, that's why this picture is here. So the Pearl Character Analysis Project. Here are the instructions. It's pretty brief. But for this writing assignment, I'm asking you to write about one of the protagonists, either Kino or Juana, in John Steinbeck's parable novel, The Pearl. As discussed in class, your thesis statement should make a specific and arguable claim about the character you choose to analyze. You must also use MLA in-text citations to analyze at least 3 quotes from the novel, and your essay must be at least 2,000 words. Please carefully review the example character analysis essays that I provided and follow the structure reviewed together in class. Now, again, I know that we only did one day of the structure last week, but again, today, next week, the week after, the rest of this class, we're going to look at example character analysis. I've got some exercises and lessons that we can practice together. So when I say review the examples and follow the structure from class, that's what we started last week and will continue to do for the rest of the semester. Okay. Now, first draft I've got as due in 3 weeks from today. That is December 6th, 2021. Now, that is very close to the end of the semester. So if you are worried about your essay, or you think you might need more time to revise and resubmit, you can submit your essay before that. I can look at it, grade it for you, give you feedback, talk about it, so that you have more time to revise and resubmit if you want. Now, again, this due date, if you submit this on December 6th, I will still grade it, give you a score, and you can revise and resubmit. But just remember, we're going to be right close to the end of the semester, which is, I think, what's the final day for the semester? Let me pull up my calendar here. I believe that the final date for the semester is the 15th of January. Let me see. Of December, excuse me. So that's the 6th. Yeah, I think it is the 16th. So exactly. So you could have your essay due here the 6th. I know that we'll be stressed and worried about grading and stuff, but I'll grade it as soon as possible. And then the last day you have is the 16th. That's the official last day of the semester. Okay. So you don't have to turn it in before the 6th, but if you want to, so you get more time to revise and resubmit, you can. Okay. Questions about this first page and the due date there? Anything I just talked about? Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Linda's good.
Yeah, because you answered already like my question. I was still like trying to ask you if I can submit it before December 6th.
Yes, you can either submit it, and I see Tahmina's here. Hi, Aki's giving me the thumbs up. You can submit it in Canvas. You can come to office hours and we can work on it together in office hours, however you want to do it, that's fine. But that's the information there about that December 6th date. I'm just seeing Tahmina's picture. I like it. Be soft in heart and beautiful in soul. That is very nice, Tahmina. I love it. Great. Aki gave me a thumbs up. So if you do have questions, stop me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. So here's the grading information for this assignment. And the rubric is almost done in Canvas, but it will look like this once I'm ready to do the final rubric. So here's how it breaks down. So write 250 points. So 100 points is for the character analysis. And that means you make a specific and arguable claim. That means your thesis statement about your character, and then use evidence from the text to prove your claim. That's what we're practicing, right? That's why it's worth the most points. That's the example that I posted for my own example from this book. I've got YouTube videos and stuff for us to practice for the rest of the semester. So that's why it's the biggest category, right? You make a claim, you make an argument. Juana is a weak and afraid character, okay? Kino is a brave and respectable man in the book, okay? Those are claims, you know, those are arguments. We can agree or disagree. And then you give me evidence to support your claim. That's really what we're doing. Next, your essay structure, 50 points. Your essay follows the character analysis essay structure as reviewed in class and provided example essays. And like I said last week, and I'll say many, many times, just use my example essay, right? You've got an introduction where you introduce the theme and you have your thesis statement, your claim, your argument. And then I tried to create each body paragraph has one really clear, specific quote connected to a topic sentence, right? So that's the structure I want and that we'll see again today. Then 40 points for in-text citations and quote analysis, right? We could say that structure and in-text citations go together here, but I chose to make them two separate categories because I want to make clear that you used MLA in-text citations to analyze at least 3 different quotes from the text, and then analyze your quotes for their connection to your claim. That's worth 40 points. And then these categories are exactly the same from the first essay. Originality and effort. Your writing shows originality, careful thought, and obvious effort. Editing. Your writing is free of grammatical and mechanical errors, including capitalization, punctuation, spelling, sentence structure, and verbs. So that's the kind of grammar, sentence structure, formatting stuff. And length. Your essay is 2,000 words. If it's 2,000 words, you get 20 points. If it's short, you don't. So that's the grading rubric for this essay. Questions?
I'm good.
Linda's good.
No,
Frank,
no
makes
question.
sense?
Yes.
Aki says thumbs up. Perfect. I love it. Great. All right, so then that's it. Because this is our longest assignment of the semester, again, you've got the most time. You've got 3 weeks. So if you need the whole 3 weeks, you've got those 3 weeks, right? If you feel like you've got some ideas and you wanted to show me something sooner, let's make an appointment, come to office hours. I met with 3 students before class today. So whatever you need, just let me know how I can support you guys, okay? And again, that document that we were looking at is right here on the Pearl Analysis Character Analysis Project page in Canvas. And all the same information is here on the page. Like I said, I just still need to update the rubric. The rubric is not done. I will do that very soon. Cool. Anything else about the final project? Otherwise, we'll keep looking at the example essay so you get an even better idea of what I'm asking you to do. Cool. Let's go. All right. So I think, yeah, Takmina was the one who asked, could we put the annotated document from last week on the live support materials? And indeed I did. So remember, I've got the example analysis essay just blank by itself here. And then I've got the example analysis essay annotated with our notes from class last week. I've got a bunch of resources and things for you to look at from today's class. 2 really short but clear and good YouTube videos about character analysis. And then I've got a document here. If we do have time, we can look at this PDF together here where it says character analysis essay explainer. If we have time, we can look at that in class together. If not, we can do that next week, okay? Oh, Sanad's here in the chat. Sanad's saying hi in the chat. Hi, Sanad. No problem. Good to see you. So that's what these are. And again, depending on how much time we've got, maybe we can look at some of those in a moment. But otherwise, I just wanted to continue with our example character analysis essay like we talked about we started last week. So we got up to, good. And everybody's just saying hi in the chat. I love it. Let me zoom in so we can see more clearly. So just so that things are clear, 200 might be too big. So I want to make sure if we go back to our introduction paragraph, which we talked a lot about, right? Someone tell me, this is our annotated one. Where is my, remember when I say for your, for, you know, the 100 points of your essay, you've got to make a clear and arguable claim in your thesis statement. What is my claim in this example essay? What am I arguing? What am I claiming?
About the town.
Good. And what about it? Specifically, what about it?
Like specifically, it's like I can remember tough and cruel, right?
Excellent. Yeah, and it's on the screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay, good. So yeah, I love it. Linda says it's about the town. Yes, it is. Linda said the word cruel, which is absolutely correct, right? That word cruel is here in our essay. Excellent. Is ugly, cruel, and
Evil.
and it
Evil.
also what? Yes, you've got that. And
Pure,
it
pure and what's this?
corrupt.
Kind and pure people
what and
against
what does it do to kind and pure people, Frank?
for the rural people. This is town against the rural
Yes.
people. So
Good. I love
character
it.
of the poor, the town character against the character of the rural people.
Very
That's
nice.
your
Very
that's
nice.
thesis, that's your thesis.
That's my thesis. That's my argument. That's my claim, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Oh, and Sanada's just talking about in the chat. She's getting excited on Wednesday. Sanad, that's really exciting. That's great. Perfect. So again, that's my really quick review of what we talked about here, because remember, everything in these body paragraphs that I'm going to finish up today has to or should connect back to that claim that I've got here in the first paragraph. Okay, so we did these paragraphs, talked about them, analyzed them, look at them. I highlighted our conversation about, you know, the fine line between analysis and argument, right? Now, did we talk about?
Yeah, we like stop by eventually. The
Okay, good.
after.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the essence of man. Yeah, we did. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
even I told you these two paragraphs were so useful to understand this kind of essay.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so let's finish up and make sure the ideas are clear.
No, go just stop.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, hey, eventually. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll continue. Eventually, the corruption of the town is so powerful that it makes its way out of the town and into the village. It is also important to note that the barrier between the town and Kino's village of grass huts begins to break down after Kino shows the pearl buyers his pearl. There are several dramatic moments in the story when people come to Kino's home to try and get information about the pearl or try to steal it. For example, the doctor comes to Kino's house unannounced. He says that he only wants to check on the baby. However, Kino knows that he is looking for the location of the pearl. In fact, the doctor sees, quote, Kino's eyes flick involuntarily to the floor near the side post of the brush house where Kino had buried the pearl. Later, men come back to Kino's hut and attack him trying to find the pearl. Even later in the story, men try to kill Kino and leave only after they have set his house on fire. These are examples of the town's evils intruding upon Kino's peaceful home on the beach. Now, I'll keep going here, but I just want to be clear. I'm doing some summarizing in these sentences, right?
Yeah.
Because how many different examples do I really have in these sentences from the story? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many different sort of moments from the story do I write about in these sentences? Well, what's the first one? In the topic sentence, right? Let's go. I'm glad I stopped here. So in the topic sentence, I say the corruption of the town is so powerful that it makes its way out of the town and into the village. So in these sentences, where's my first example of the, and I repeat myself here, right? These are examples of the town's evils intruding upon Kino's peaceful home on the beach. So what's the first example of the town's evils intruding upon Kino? What's the first one?
The doctor.
Thank you. The doctor comes to Kino's house unannounced. Exactly correct. Let me move my, I gotta move some of my stuff around here. Good, that's exactly right. So this is example 1. Doctor comes to visit Kino's.
What about people come to Kino's home?
That's the second example.
Exactly. Kino and Frank are on it. They're doing exactly what I want to talk about. So I introduce the example, right? And then I give more context though, right? So the doctor comes to Kino's house and then I give more, remember, after you introduce the quote, you want to give me something, right? You want to give me some analysis. You want to give me some argument. You want to show me why this quote is important or this example from the story is important. So he says that he only wants to check on the baby. However, Kino knows that he's looking for the location of the pearl. I would lose some points there for my typo. In fact, the doctor sees Kino's eyes flick involuntarily to the floor near the side post near the brush house where Kino had buried the pearl. Then I've got what? Transition word here. So yeah, what's my second example?
Man.
Yep.
Men come.
Example 2, men come to take the pearl. And we could even just say, what did I say? Men attack Kino. That's kind of like my short summary of my own sentence. The example 2 is men come, they attack him. We remember that scene where he's bloody, he's hurt, he's injured, right? And then notice I've got even more transition words, right? Even later in the story, men try to kill Kino and leave only after they have set his house on fire, right? So here I've got it, example 3. Example 3, hut on fire. So even in this first part of this paragraph, I've got a topic sentence where I say the town is so evil that it comes out into the village. It comes to get Kino, and then I give 3 examples of that, and then I even have one sort of really short quote, but a little quote to just say, you know, here's proof that my argument is correct, right? Here's some proof that my arguments are correct.
You wrote about the 3 examples for the bad behavior of the town people.
Exactly, Frank, exactly. And I'll finish the paragraph here now, but any questions about what I'm doing at the beginning of this paragraph? Any questions? Okay, so let's finish.
Are these like,
go ahead,
Professor, like, are these examples like that you mentioned, it belong to just like the town and into the village, or it's like in the beginning of the paragraph when you said the corruption of the town is powerful?
Now that is an excellent question. Frank, what do you think? You have an idea there?
Yeah, that you wrote this article is about the bad example. You wrote how the bad town people are so cruel, greed, and bad behavior. That's an example you wrote down. That's 3 examples. How to you have to explain.
I agree. And now, Linda, I think you tell me, Linda, but I think you were sort of saying, could we use these 3 examples in a different way? Is that your question? I think this is where, again, some people love literary analysis and some people hate it. I think, yes, you could, because this example of, okay, forget about the doctor, right? But the second 2 examples, men come back to Kino's hut and try to attack him. Men come back and set his house on fire. I think both of those examples to me are about violence or anger or greed. So if you wanted to write a story about, okay, Kino is not, for example, Kino is not a violent man. He only acts in violence because other people are
People
violent
attack him.
to him, well,
Yeah.
then you could use those examples to say, look, these are just examples of my argument isn't the town is evil. My argument is Kino is a victim of violence or something like this. Do you know what I mean, Linda?
Yeah, I know. I got it.
So those specific examples could support a different claim, a different argument, a different thesis statement. Absolutely, right? And part of the skill that I'm asking you to practice with this paper is exactly what you just said, right? Be very clear about your idea, your argument, your thesis, and then you do have some freedom, right? What quotes do you choose? Which examples do you choose? It doesn't really matter as long as they support your claim, as long as they support your argument, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. For me, I mean, you can tell, it's one thing I love about literary analysis is we can do our own sort of interpretation, our own understanding of the text. I love it. But yeah, some people are like, but I only want one right answer. It's so frustrating. So it just depends on what you like, you know. Great question, Linda. Let's finish this paragraph, and then if anybody else has more questions, we can talk about it.
Thank you.
So here, Steinbeck presents the characters from the town as violent intruders who bring violence and danger to not only Kino and his family, but the entire village. Ultimately, the men from the town are so greedy and cruel, Kino believes that the only way to protect his family and the pearl is to run away from the bus and try to reach the capital city. Tragically, Kino's decision to hold on to the pearl and try to escape has a horrible end, right? I think here we've talked about this, you know, we've kind of got some transition sentences here, right? Because again, once again, I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to make it hopefully obvious here. Kino's decision to hold on to the pearl and try to escape has a horrible end. Near the end of the book, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make my transitions pretty obvious for you. But even before that, what do I have here? This is like our conversation last week. What am I doing with these two sentences that I've got highlighted here? Argument, analysis, both? What do you think?
This argument is your argument.
Good. And can you say why, Frank?
Let me see.
Because it's kind of like a town's evils and then Kino's peaceful home on the beach. Like a kind of comparing between Kino's peaceful and the town violence.
Definitely. Yeah, that's part of it.
You said that this example means these are your opinion.
Good.
That's your argument.
Excellent. Good. I think, Frank, again, I keep thinking about last week in an essay like this, there is a fine line between analysis and argument. But I do think this is like Linda's question. Okay, I could write an essay where I say, you know, later in the story, men come to Kino's house and burn his hut down. That's just a fact, right? That's true.
True.
But then when I say, and this shows, this means, this proves, now we are getting a little bit closer to argument, my opinion, whatever. So again, when Frank says these feel like argument sentences, I think that makes total sense. That's totally fine. But just make sure, you know, I'm highlighting them for a reason, because after you write about, you know, in these sentences, I've got quotes, examples, etc., right? So after you get your quote, after you get your example from the book, just make sure you've got some argument sentences, right? You've got some sentences that explain or show or argue what those examples, what those quotes mean for your thesis statement, right? And again, everything that I just said, everything we talked about last week, this is about structure, right? The structure of these essays, what they are like. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Cool. Linda says yes. Frank, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anybody else who, just put your thumbs up or just, interrupt me if you've got questions at all. All right, next paragraph. So like I said, I've got some example transition sentences here. So tragically, Kino's decision to hold on to the pearl and try to escape has a horrible end. Near the end of the book, Kino, Juana, and Coyotito leave both the village and the town for the wildness of the desert. In the desert, Kino loses his humanity and becomes like a wild animal. But this is only because he is being hunted like a wild animal. Men from the town use trackers to follow Kino and his family because they want to take the pearl from him. So they are treating Kino like a wild animal, not a human being. Now, what am I doing here, you guys? What do you notice? I don't have quotes, but what am I doing?
Kind of argue too.
Good. And Linda's saying kind of arguing. I do think part of my argument, you're right. I think there's one other thing. What else am I doing here? It starts with an S. Thank you, Frank. Say it.
Nice.
Yeah, Frank just said it. Frank was on it. I think I'm kind of summarizing, right? 2,000 words, it will take you time to write 2,000 words, but 2,000 words to summarize, 2 chapters in a book, it's not that much. So you'll have to do a little summarizing, right? You can't just have a big quote in every paragraph. You've got to do a balance between, okay, my own words of summary, and then just giving a nice quote. So here I've got a summary, but Linda's exactly correct, right? I am doing a little bit of argument because I'm sort of saying, at this part in the story, he's like a wild animal.
Wild
right?
animal.
Yes, exactly. I'm kind of introducing, I wouldn't say a theme, but almost like a new, in this first topic sentence, a new sort of topic, this idea of wild and animals and humans versus animals and all that stuff. So I think that's a lot of what I'm trying to do in this first group of sentences. Make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think after this, it'll just be time to practice, but here we go. Unfortunately, Kino believes that the only way to save his family is to act like a wild animal, so he decides to kill the 3 men. His attempt to protect his family fails horribly, or typos, excuse me. However, and his son Coyotito is shot and killed by one of the trackers. Steinbeck could have chosen to end his story here. Notice, big transition, right? So summary, 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 summary. And then again, you've got now as the writer, me, I'm introducing the author of the text. So this goes back to some kind of analysis, some kind of argument, right? So summary, 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 summary. And then again, I'll make a note here for my annotated copy of the document. But here I've got reintroduce the author's name. This is a clue or signal that I will return to analysis or argument in the following sentences. And again, we could say a lot about these example sentences, but this is kind of summary plus argument, right? Or like Linda was saying, summary plus analysis. And this just takes time and practice, right? I'm not saying that this is easy to do, but even if you're like, Jeff, how am I supposed to do this? We've got some more time to practice and you'll get to practice in your essay. But even if you just understand what I'm doing, that's very beneficial. That's very helpful. Plus analysis / argument. That's what I'm doing in the structure of these first few sentences here. Okay. Now, Steinbeck could have chosen to end his story here without having Kino and Juana return to the town. But the final chapter of the book takes place when Kino and Juana return to their village with their dead son. It is a very painful but very important moment in the book because it shows that Kino and Juana have been transformed by their experience with the cruelty and evil of the town. Steinbeck writes that, quote, everyone in La Paz remembers the return of the family. There may be some old ones who saw it, But those whose fathers and whose grandfathers told it to them remember it nevertheless. It is an event that happened to everyone. This moment, where two people from the village returned to the town that took everything from them, is so important that it is a part of the town's history, right? So what am I doing here, you guys? Again, a little bit of everything, but what do you notice in these sentences? Anybody? Frank, what do you think?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
starting your argument.
Good. I was going to say, is
to-
this an, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, stand back could choose means you try to, your argument follow.
Good. Good. Yeah, I was going to ask, this is really, hopefully you can see kind of between analysis and argument, right? This whole paragraph is almost like a long summary paragraph, but of course, all of the events, all of the things that I include in my summary, I'm sort of putting them into context for my thesis statement, right? I'm always connecting the summary, the events in the summary, back to my ideas, my arguments, my thesis, my analysis, whatever, right? That's kind of what I'm doing in the whole paragraph. Good. Frank, you're exactly right. Anybody else, ideas or questions in this paragraph? Cool. Now, moving on to the final paragraph, the conclusion paragraph here. So, rather than focus on the town, however, Steinbeck describes how Kino and Juana have changed. He writes that they, quote, walked through the city as though it were not there. And as they walked through the stone and plaster city, brokers peered at them from barred windows, and servants put one eye to a slitted gate, and mothers turned the faces of their younger children inward against their skirts. Juan Tomas raised his hand in greeting and did not say the greeting, and left his hand in the air for a moment uncertainly. Again, same structure you should be used to now. Topic sentence, example or quote, and here comes my analysis, right? So, it is important to point out that Kino and Juana walked through La Paz as if it were not there, almost as if the town is invisible to them. The town is invisible because they have decided to leave the world of the town forever with their final decision of the book. At the end, Kino throws the pearl of the world back into the Sea of Cortez. At this moment, he rejects the cruelty, greed, and evil of the town forever. And this is why the town is almost invisible to him and Juana as they walk to the beach. Steinbeck shows us that greed can cost human beings everything because it forces them to focus on things that are not truly important, like money, instead of what will make us truly whole: family, peace, and safety. So if this paragraph before is like summary and analysis, I think this last paragraph, this last conclusion, is kind of like all argument, right?
Argument,
Yes, exactly. I keep connecting the examples from the end of the book to my own thesis statement, to my own argument, right? My own idea. So Linda was saying she had some questions about the conclusion.
Yeah.
Let's just start there, Linda, and then let's have a conversation about the conclusion. So what were you
like
thinking about?
When we do any essay, we have the conclusion, right? And the first like a sentence is gonna be, should be like we're gonna repeat it again, the thesis statement, correct?
Yes.
So
some
here
of it.
you,
Yeah,
I don't know,
ahead.
the other reason I ask, this one is the first, you said rather than focus on the town, however, and you just have another transition word, however, just I have argued to kind of, or comparing or whatever, or you deny the things, the statement, and then you back to another statement. And then you repeat it again in the end of the paragraph, which is, you said, when you said you repeat the thesis statement here when you said the last two sentences. So my question, should we do it like like this example, or we gonna go with our what we have or what we know about any essays, any kind of essays?
Yeah, great question. I think I think you already said it perfectly. Linda was saying, okay, we learned in other essay classes, repeat your thesis statement as the first sentence of the conclusion. But in my example essay, I kind of have it as the last sentence in the conclusion, right? So I'll say this, Linda, you choose if you want to use the sort of old traditional style and have your first topic sentence in your conclusion be sort of repeat your thesis, that's fine too. But I did want to show you at this level, college level, transfer level classes, you've got more freedom in your conclusion as long as you restate your thesis statement, right? As long as you sort of summarize your own ideas and your own essay, you can put that sentence beginning, middle, and end of the conclusion. It really doesn't matter. What did you think? Like, does this look strange, or did it still feel okay for you, Linda? Like, what was your opinion?
It's like a kind of strange because first you just like a let not say you argue here, you're not summarizing because you put however, and then you put another quotation like a quote, and then you start with another argue too. For me, it's a kind of, I don't know how to connect, you did perfect paragraph. You just connected the thesis, the repeating of thesis statement in the end with the first sentences, so it was kind of, I don't know how to do it if it was me.
Right.
Yeah,
But
because it's a new style and it's a new.
I disagree with Brenda.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay, what's the disagree? Tell me, Frank.
Yeah, because you just wrote down the Kino and Fan ignore for their town people means he don't like the town people. That's why that's also you lie down the town people so greedy, cruel. So ignore the people. Then he go to his rural. So that's where he seeking his peace and his family gonna live. So this is a right. I like the way you write, but still your sentence, your conclusion tell the story. Your first thesis is town against rural, their character against each other. So I like this is a right. This is your thesis is still bring over here the conclusion. In conclusion.
Yeah. I don't even.
Yeah, but I say it, Frank. I'm sorry, Professor. I just want to make it sure, explain to Frank something. I didn't say anything. I said if it was me, I cannot do it do the thesis statement at the end of paragraph and connect it to what Professor wrote already in this example. So my question was, do we have to do it like this essay example, or as I have learned different style, we should be first do the thesis statement in the beginning of the paragraph in the first sentences.
Yeah.
And then I can.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think Frank disagrees. I think you're both saying something similar, just in a different way.
Yeah.
I think my short answer for Linda is try what you want to try, right? Because eventually, I mean, this is the class to do it, you guys. If you're going to get a college degree and you're going to study nursing or early childhood education or something, you might never need to take a literature class again. Do you know what I mean? Like, you may never need to analyze a book or a poem or whatever. So I'd say if you like this example that I gave you, try something new and different, right? Try it.
I do.
But I also agree with you, Linda, which is, I've been studying literature. I have a degree in English literature. So I mean, I've done essays like this way too many in my life. So I wanted to show you a sort of different way to do this. But if you, Linda, and not just Linda, right? Anybody who's here with me, Aki, Andre, Oscar left, Sanad, Tahmina, or if you're watching on the recording, Oscar, if you feel comfortable restating the thesis as the first sentence and the conclusion, do that. That is beautiful. That is totally fine. And if you want to try a sort of different style or play around a little bit with the conclusion, you know, now's the time to do it. You know, you may never take a literature class again. So that's my short answer for your, does that make sense, Linda, for your
Yes,
question?
of course, Professor. Yes.
Perfect. And then to Frank's idea, now, when I showed this example to you guys, I had this question, and I'll ask all of you. Does this conclusion feel like I finished the paper too soon? Like, do you feel like it's rushed, or do you feel like you have enough information to finish the essay? Because I ask that because maybe I could sort of let me ask, I'll just keep it short. Let me keep that first question. Does the end of this essay feel rushed, like you needed more information, or does it feel whole and complete?
No, I feel the first sentence is when you said rather than focus on the town, and you just then said, however, it was kind of short because I didn't understand focus on town, then what? But then later, when I read it to the end, you connected to the last sentence. Did you see like when you said Steinbeck shows us that the greed can cause, where's the focus? Where you said something about focus too. Oh, yeah. It forces them to focus on things that are not truly important, like money, instead of what will make as truly whole. So it was kind of gave me some answer, but still like I was confused about the first sentences and the conclusion. Maybe because it's a new thing for me.
No, well, we can talk about. I'll show you. I want to show you something because I don't agree or disagree, but I think I know what you're talking about. Frank, what do you think? Does this last paragraph feel rushed? Does it feel like? How does it feel for you?
That's an extra.
What do you mean? Tell me more. Say
extra
more.
Means that last part is a paragraph. You know, this story is paragraph. So you wrote the paragraph in the last.
Yes. Okay.
Except the last sentence, you're fine. But the last sentence, last conclusion sentence is the paragraph, you know, that's where you wrote down. So I think it's okay, you know.
Okay. Okay. I love it. Anybody else? Andre, Aki, Senad, anybody else with opinions? If not, that's okay too. But does anybody else feel like this is rushed, too fast? Jeff, you finished your essay too fast. What do you think?
It's too fast, but I understand what Linda's argument is. So she wants to stick the thesis. Her argument is your conclusion should be stick to your first thesis, but she said maybe this is something she have some question. You know?
Well, see, I think both of your questions are perfect, right? So when you're writing an essay, you do have some choices to make, right? And one thing is really this summary paragraph that we already talked about, right? Where I wanted to talk, I'm talking about the town, right? So I think that it's very important that in chapter 6, let me make sure I have my PDF open. I want to go to this page in the novel here for us. Yes. So here I am, right at the end of the book. I think for me, if I were analyzing I'm analyzing the town, right? Like I'm analyzing the town like a character in the book. I think it's really important then, this paragraph that's on page 87, right? Where it says, everyone in La Paz remembers the return of the family. This paragraph to me was so important because we go from the desert, right? It says the hysterical cry from the little cave in the side of the stone mountain, the cry of death, of course, this horrible, painful, sad moment that happens in the book. Then we go from the desert here into the town. So I thought it was really important to include this quote about the town, right? The town remembers, the town has this memory. But you could even say that really I'm talking about when they go out into the wilderness, into the desert, the wild animal, all that stuff here. And here I introduce the part of everyone remembers the return. then all of these paragraphs are all of these sentences, excuse me, are also about when they return to the town, right? So, and then when he throws the stone, you could almost say to me, Jeff, like all of this that I have highlighted right now is kind of all one idea, and that should really be one paragraph. And this sentence should be maybe the start of your conclusion. Then it'd be like Linda was saying, right? Then I'd have the first sentence of my conclusion paragraph really would be kind of restating my thesis, right?
Yeah.
But this, everything that I have highlighted here really is too long for one paragraph, right? It really is too long for one single paragraph. You know, another sort of basic rule of college essays is you can't have a paragraph that's a whole page. You know, a double spaced one page, it can't all be one paragraph unless it's your, you know, master's or PhD thesis, you know, then maybe you can do it. So I had to sort of make a choice. Okay, where do I want to break up these ideas? Where do I want to start a new paragraph and continue? And I just sort of decided to start the new paragraph with the story of him throwing the pearl back in the sea, and then to end with this final sort of summary or restating of the thesis statement. Now, again, I'm biased. I'm grading myself here. I still think this essay is a nice solid A. It's a very good example. But I do think you're right, Linda, to say, you know what? The end feels a little bit rushed. I wasn't fully clear on the organization. But I do think when you say, Linda, the feeling at the end, I do think it feels complete, but maybe the structure is a little bit confusing. I don't disagree. I totally understand that idea, Linda. I really do. I really do. Does that make sense a little bit, Frank and Linda, for what you guys were talking about?
Yeah, yes, Professor.
Yeah. Frank, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this is what I mean, right? Like, as you guys keep going, again, maybe you'll never write another essay like this, but as your essays get longer and longer, 4 pages, 5 pages, 7 pages, 10 pages in a psychology class, whatever, you have more freedom, you know, and that's both good and scary sometimes. But it's not always, well, your first sentence of your conclusion must be the restatement of the thesis. Maybe, you know, but in longer papers with more complicated and interesting ideas, it might not always be that simple, you know. But anyway, Linda, your question is excellent. I mean, your question is excellent and it makes perfect sense. And I'm really glad that I got to talk about it because that's a structure question, right? That's a structure question.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Yeah, I was just thinking about it's a kind of the end of the essay, but it was kind of weird for me, and it's a new style too. The other reason I was just like I have some question when I read it.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It makes sense. Frank, what were you going to say?
Yeah, overall, I like your essay. Overall,
oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think I like it.
I think it's okay, and I hope you like it too.
Yeah, especially Frank, the last paragraph. I told you, Professor, if it was me, I cannot connect it. Like you put some information and you connect it to the code and then to the end, and then to the thesis of the statement. So kind of, I don't know. You just did perfect for me.
What can I say, Linda? I literally, it is my job. I am a professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
I've written so many essays in my life, you guys. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Cool. Any other questions about our example essay here? This is in Canvas. You already know this, but this is in Canvas for you. I love Linda and Frank's questions because it shows that you read the essay, you thought about it, you have questions. That makes me happy. That makes me very happy. But it's there for you. So please use it as your template, use it as your example, right? If your essays look like this, that is, I love it. Just use the same structure. But we just got to talk about, you know, your own ideas. That's the big challenge. Any questions at all? Because I wanted to show you at least one other thing today, depending on how much time we've got. But any questions?
Yes.
Yeah, please, Frank.
I have a question about quotation.
Please tell me.
And the 3 paragraph, and as Kino and Fan leave their hut to enter village, then you have a quotation. Kino and Fan, those. I don't understand this quotation. You have Kino and Fan.
Here?
Yes.
Here?
Yes, this, yes, that's the one. So that quotation and what this indicate.
Let me show you. Great question. I think I said this last week, but only really quickly, or maybe it wasn't. Didn't ask last week. Let me show you the reading. It's not that I want. It's this that I want. Okay, so Frank is saying, Jeff, you've got Kino and Juana in these brackets. Here where it says he describes the city as a city of stone and plaster with harsh outer walls. Kino and Juana heard the secret gardens. Okay, so if I go back to the pages 8, and let me zoom in again. Yes, so here, I'm right here, right? They came to the place where the brush houses, where they came to the brush houses, stopped, and the city stone of plaster and began. The city of harsh outer walls and inner cool gardens where a little water played, and the bougainvillea crusted the walls with purple and brick red and white. So here's my quote where I said, they heard from the secret gardens the singing of caged birds and heard the splash of cooling water. So who's they, Frank? In this, who's they?
Kino and Fana.
That's why. Now, so when you do the quote, exactly. If you want, when you're quoting the book, if you want to make it really clear to the reader, to me in this case, right, you don't have to use the pronoun, because in your quote, the pronoun might not be clear. So when you put those brackets, that's to just, it's to show the reader, hey, I'm re-saying or retelling character names instead of a pronoun. That's what that means.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great question. Really, really great question. And I see Linda and Sanat are talking about the example, so that's great. Yes, so thank you again, Frank. I'll just make sure for people watching the recording. Here, I put Kino and Juana in brackets because I'm giving a quote from the book, but that quote in the book is, they heard from Secret Gardens. It's a pronoun. So I can put the character names back in as long as I put it in those brackets to show that that's what I'm doing.
And I think to make the reader like know what you're talking about, right?
That's exactly
because
right,
it's
Linda.
not a book, it's just an essay that you write about some people, so they need to know who these people are, like who they are.
Exactly. Exactly. Without it, because without that, if I don't put the character names in, it would basically be like an unclear pronoun, right? Like it wouldn't be clear who the pronoun is referring to.
Even you, when you grade us, like you're gonna say who they are, who you are talking about, right?
Unclear pronoun. That's a very common ESL teacher, not even just ESL, but everybody for writing.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, I know.
Unclear pronoun.
I know it is. Mm-hmm.
Aki, I see your hand. What's up?
Yeah, I have one question. Can I quote from other texts?
Yes, if you want. Thank you, Aki. I should have said this in the when I talked about the assignment sheet. If you want to cite other sources, you can. You don't have to. So when I say 3 MLA in-text citations, you can use all 3 from the book, or if you found another good source, if you found an article, if you found something else, you can quote that too.
No, okay, thank you. Because I'm taking social psychology class, so I don't know yet, but it may be useful for character analysis. So.
I love it, Aki. I love that idea. Again, in other semesters, when I teach face-to-face and we have more time, sometimes I will say, you must find an article, you must find an outside source, because again, at 350, most people took 300 or ESLW 340. So you have some practice with this. But again, you know, online, shorter classes, kind of tired students, tired teacher. I'm not going to make you use outside sources, but Aki, if you find something useful, please use it. That would be great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else? Because I've got one other resource, one other thing I want to show you to help with the structure stuff. But anybody else about this example essay? Cool. I'll keep this open just in case you do have questions later. But for now, let me get this going. So the other document that I wanted to show you is here in Canvas. And again, just so people know watching the recording, I'm going to live support materials. And I've got a couple videos. We'll see if we can get to them. But this PDF here that says character analysis essay explainer, I'm going to download this and we'll look at it together. All right. So this is not from our college, but I found it online this weekend and I really enjoyed it. This is another community college. So this is Tidewater Community College. I looked that up. That is in Virginia, but it is a community college and a very similar, what could I say? This assignment sheet, this explainer is really useful and really helpful, even though usually I only like my own stuff, but I really like it. And I'll show you why. On this page, it talks about the introduction, what to do in each paragraph is kind of what it talks about, right? So it shows you how to write your introduction paragraph, right? How to turn your thesis, and lead in means sort of the information that you summarize or include in the examples. So this will show you sort of more information about how to begin your introductions. It gives you some great information about using transitions in your essay. More examples for how to use quotations effectively, right? And more resources for writing your own conclusion. Now, the only thing that I really think you should look at this, read over it and get some more ideas for the structure of your essay. The only warning, the only thing I did want to say to get you ready is they're talking about a different book, right? So when it talks about, for example, here it says, the short story on which the samples are based is Sherwood Anderson's Death in the Woods. The protagonist is Mrs. Jack Grimes. So here, where it gives you this example thesis statement, Mrs. Jack Grimes is a woman who has been denied any love or tenderness. She exists only to be used. This Mrs. Jack Grimes, obviously, this is from a different story. So you might not understand the details, the examples that they'll talk about, because this is about a different story. But I still think it's really helpful, really useful to get some more sort of detailed explanation for how to organize the structure once you have a clear idea of your own thesis statement, right? Your own argument. So hopefully you guys can look at this, and maybe if we need more, if we need more details, we can look at this together next week. But any questions about this document or anything at all? I know I'm just showing it to you and saying, hey, read it. There's another example essay as well. That's the other reason that I posted it into Canvas for you. This essay looks a little bit shorter than the one you'll write, but another example essay for you guys to look at as well. Makes sense?
Yes.
Cool. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about today is, so in the assignment, right, when I say you've got to make a clear, specific, arguable claim about the character that you choose, I wanted to just talk about that a little bit and then maybe watch some of these videos to get some more ideas. What are some examples that we could think about for Kino and Juana? Like what kind of claims or arguments could we make? Have you guys started to think about that, or what do you think? Yeah, do you have some ideas yet, or do you need some more time to think about possible thesis statements?
I have already thesis statement.
Ooh, I love it, Frank. In that case, that makes me excited enough that let me just open let me open the document here then. You've got a thesis statement. So let's go down. I'm going to type this so we can all see an example.
No, I just idea of what I'm gonna write for the.
Tell me.
I'm gonna be stick to the Kino's
so
character.
Good. So what are you thinking? I love it.
Oh, my title is okay. My title is the analysis of protagonist Kino, who is a hero or not.
Okay, I love it. And so what are you thinking?
That's I think he is hero. That's I gonna write. That's I going to write.
Wow. Okay, so Kino is a hero. Do we think, is this a specific and arguable idea? What do you guys think?
Oh yes, this is very much so. And
Frank says yes.
yeah,
Linda, what do you
because
think?
some people,
No, Professor, I disagree.
Whoa. Okay, Frank, tell me, and then I want to hear from Linda. Frank, tell me. Some people
disagree, but I think he is a hero.
Yes. Good. Linda, what do you think?
I think he's not. Like, I think he was a peaceful guy, like a good man, and then he turned to a selfish guy due to the like his greedy or his wildness that he have, because he was just like a pushing even his family to the death, even like he like his greedy makes like his son to get killed, because he was just like looking for his benefit, especially like between two bracket, big bracket. He was just looking for his benefits. He wasn't even listening to his wife. He was even like acting like he's the only man in the world.
Interesting. Now, Takmina is saying in the chat, everyone has different perceptions. Therefore, we will express our own words on this essay. Now, I wanted to say two things. My question was, Kino is a hero. Now, is this a specific claim for a thesis? I think it is. And is it arguable? That means, will some people agree and will some people disagree?
Disagree.
Clearly, it is arguable, right, Frank? Because Linda's saying, I don't agree.
Yes.
Linda didn't say, this is a bad thesis. She was just saying, I don't agree that he's a hero. Now
this is very arguable.
That's a good sign for a thesis statement in this type
So
of
you
essay,
have
right,
the claim, like you have the disagree part, Frank. So you can write about it.
Now, Frank.
Yeah, I gonna write explain how he is hero is. That I gonna write.
Exactly, that will be your job. Now, can you give us one reason, if you want to, can you give us one reason why, like what will you use?
He's a hero?
Because, yeah, why?
He is a hero because the conclusion he choose what the hero is, because he respect his wife, because he had a tragedy. He lost his son, so he know what to do, what the hero should do. He decide, he protect family is most important more than money. This is I like it. That so he's a hero.
So the end of the book is a big part of your argument, right, Frank?
Correct.
I love
so
it.
That's why he's a hero, because in my idea is, if his son was not shot, he may went to the capital, sell the power, then his life gonna be changed. He gonna be like 10 people. But the author changed because that his purpose is not material, you know. So
But
the
Frank,
mental.
I think, yeah, I'm sorry if I interrupt you, but I think he was protecting the pearl because he was still, like I said, I'm gonna do everything just to sell this, right? To sell this in a city. So I think he wasn't protecting his family because he asked his wife in the last chapter to go to like a hide in a like over some like away from him, and he was going to attack or kill these three people. So it's a kind of violence. It's not protecting, I think.
No. That's because he has no choice. If he don't kill the three men, they're gonna be killed by them. So that he has to protect his family. His family comes first. So that's why he has no choice to kill them.
I
So
love
that's
it.
one of the that has to be protect the protects the family is the main thing he has to do to survive.
I
So
love it.
he is a hero.
I love it. Aki, I want to read the comments in the chat too, but but first I saw Aki, do you have your hand up? You want to say something?
Yeah, I understand both that, but you know, Linda and I were women.
Yep.
So Kino is, I think Kino is representative of man rule.
Mm.
I thought, but it's okay. I'm gonna write in my essay.
So I want to make sure. I love this. So Kino, these are examples. Kino represents man's rule. Is that right, Aki?
Yes, yeah, I think so. So Frank thinks, you know, Kino is a hero, but Linda and me, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Because we
I
are
don't
women.
think so.
We
No.
are, yeah, we are wife. Yeah, so we are moms. So we don't think so, but I understand.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too. I won't even say my opinion. I remember. We should keep talking here, and we will. But what I want to make sure is clear. Kino is a hero is a perfect thesis statement for this essay, right? Because you can argue either way. Kino represents manhood or societies where men rule or gender stuff. That, again, like Aki was saying, I think that's a great thesis statement. And there's lots of evidence in the text that you could use to analyze that, right?
Yeah,
And
it
then
is.
I want to look at the comments in the chat because I think Andre was kind of talking a little bit about Frank's topic. So Andre was saying at the end of the story, Kino is changed. Juana is not changed. Coyotito is suffered. And then Takmina says because he tried all his effort to save his family and the pearl. I think Takmina is saying more evidence for hero, right? He tried so hard. He did his best. He wanted to save his family and the pearl. And then Andre says save family or the pearl. And Takmina says both. And then Andre says, what was wrong in Kino? He could not save the family. The pearl was lost by his hand. Honestly, I think that all of the discussion that we were just having with Frank, Linda, and Aki there is, we could say that this example in the chat of to save his family and the pearl, and then Andre says, save his family or the pearl. This idea of, well, if you believe that Kino was trying to save both, okay, maybe he's the hero. If you believe he only wanted to save the pearl and didn't care about his family, then we could say probably not a hero, right? But again, like Takmina says, both, right? Maybe it's both, and maybe you disagree. Maybe you know what I mean? And that's, I think, for me, one of the interesting and fun and exciting things about this type of essay. Takmina, I see your little yellow hand. I'd love to hear your voice. You want to add something here?
Hello everyone. I just want to mention the hero is not the one who went at the end. The hero could be the one who tried and make effort a lot, but he cannot achieve things because of jealousy, because of the bad deed of others, like this. I think
Mm,
tried
mm,
a lot. He make effort. He struggled, but at the end, he lost a parallel and his son. As a,
mm, mm, mm. I love it. So Tahmina is saying, remember, even if the hero might lose, or the hero might make mistakes, or the hero might, you know, whatever, the end might not be perfect for the hero, but they can still be a hero, right? Is that right, Tahmina?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Again, interesting. Interesting. I think that's an interesting, I think that's really interesting.
That's really an argument topic.
I
Right?
agree.
Argue a lot about it.
I agree. Good. Anybody else, anything about what we've talked about, or any other specific arguable thesis statements we could talk about? Is anyone going to write about Juana, or is it Kino only? What could we say about Juana? And maybe not, don't even tell me as a thesis statement. Let's just have a discussion before we before the end of class here. Let's talk about Juana's character. Like, what do you think is interesting or important about Juana's character?
Wow.
Tahmina, is it same yellow hand, or you have an idea, Tahmina?
I have not yet to what character I should write an easy, but I'm right about the Anna because she was a supportive, loyal, and good, and she has a great character in this story. I'll try my best to write and something about the Anna.
Good. Now, I love this
Also, the
example.
main character in this.
I love this example from Tahmina. Tahmina saying, Juana's character is strong and loyal. Now, is that arguable or not?
It's arguable.
Yes.
It is.
I don't think strong.
No, it's analyzing.
I think when I say Juana is a strong and loyal character, I don't think that's
But when you
arguable.
say, but she was a kind of weak wife, maybe this is gonna be argument. But if you just like I said, strong and loyal, it's just like analyzing the character, right?
So
She is supportive. I'm
okay, supportive and loyal. Okay, maybe it's the word strong. So Juana is supportive and loyal. Maybe this is not arguable. This is just facts, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Maybe it is that word. Juana is a supportive and loyal character. And by the end of the novel, it is clear that she is the strongest character in the story. Now, this is arguable, right? Like strongest, stronger, like this is again that great example. Like I just keep thinking about Frank's question and our conversation last week. This really is analysis. She's very loyal, she's very supportive, and argument, and she's the strongest character in the book. Now you're getting a little bit of both, you know what I mean? I'm checking the chat here. Juana represents traditional women's rule. Both are on the traditional gender rules. Yeah, I think that's true, Aki. Andre says Kino hit his wife. Juana has a strong position because without Kino, she could not live anymore. Well, that goes back to Aki's points there, right? Like, even if Juana is the strongest character in the book, at this time in this society, women couldn't work, women couldn't earn money, so maybe she needed Kino, even if she was stronger character than Kino, right? So really interesting. Juana represents traditional women's rule. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gender stuff in this book for sure. But I want to make sure that this is clear here. Juana is a supportive and loyal character, not really arguable. Juana is a supportive and loyal character, and by the end of the novel, it's clear that she is the strongest character in the story. Now I'm taking facts from the story and my own argument and putting them together. Does the difference between those two things make sense, you guys? Tahmina, hand? Cool. I think it makes sense. Anybody else have stuff to say about more stuff to say about Juana? What else could we say about her?
I have a question.
Please, Linda.
Like when you will say it like about Juana, she's caring, she's loving, she's kindness, and a lot of things, let's say positive things. And we want to write about, let's say, her loving or her kindness or her caring about her family or her thoughts about her family. Should we narrow the topic to just one specific positive, let's say, adjective things about her, or should we just write about all this stuff?
I think even more important than just choosing one or two of these personality traits or the character's personality, even more important than choosing just one adjective is making some connection between those character traits and some kind of argument, right? So if I say Juana is a caring and lovable character, I still don't think I've got a really clear, arguable thesis here, right? I need to connect this to some kind of critical thinking idea. So what can we say about this? One, like, for example, and this means like this is a kind of way to make sure that your analysis turns into an argument, right? So Juana is a caring and lovable character, and this means what? You know what I mean? Like, how does that matter in the story? So what do you think, Linda? Do you think that it's important that Juana is so caring and loving?
If we're talking about her, let's say, about her positive side, or what if she's good or not, it's important. But if we should just like explain another theory or another view, it's not, I think.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's good. That's great. Yeah, anybody else want to add to what Linda was saying there? That's pretty nice. Yeah, I love it because Linda's answer makes me think like, why does this matter, right? Why does Juana's loving character matter? Why in this essay, right? We know why in the book, we read the book, but in this essay, why does it matter? Why is it important? What do we want to say? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let's do one more short activity just to make sure we got this, but I feel pretty good. Everybody, did these examples make sense together?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Andre's going deep in the chat. Andre says, can Kino and Juana be one person with two voices? And Juana is the conscience. Ooh, I love that, Andre. So maybe you'd say something like, Juana, I'm going to add this. Juana is a loving, caring and lovable character, a caring and loving character. And this is very important in the story because she acts as Kino's conscience. Now I think, using Andre's quote or using Andre's message in the chat, now I do have some kind of arguable thesis statement, right? If I say Juana is Kino's conscience, for me as the reader, I think that's really interesting. And then I think, ooh, I'm curious which examples from the book will Andre use to support that thesis? You know what I'm saying? Because that's really cool. I mean, I think that's a really interesting idea. So Juana is Kino's consciousness. They share one heart or one mind, and Kino is sometimes the animal, and Juana is the angel on his shoulder. I like that a lot. Does that make sense? The difference between those two examples, you guys? let's do one. We'll do more of this next week, but just so we get a little more practice, we feel a little bit more comfortable. I wanted to go to one of the parts of the story we didn't look too much at. It was good. It's here on page 55, and it is kind of actually connected to what Andre was saying there in the chat. What I'd like to do now is, again, we'll have an activity to do this next week a little bit more, but what I want to do now is just a little baby practice for taking a quote and analyzing it, right? Connecting it to an argument. So I'm here on page 55, if you've got your paper book, but I'll project it onto the screen so I can see. Now, notice this is after they go to the pearl buyers. Where are we in the narrative? Where are we in the story? After he goes to the town to talk to the pearl buyers, and they're trying to cheat him, right? And they go back home. They go back to their village. So I'm here on 55, and I want to look at these quotes to think about Juana. So Juana watched him with worry, but she knew him, and she knew she could help him best by being silent and by being near. And as though she too could hear the song of evil, she fought it, singing softly the melody of the family, of the safety and warmth and wholeness of the family. She held Coyotito in her arms and sang the song to him to keep the evil out, and her voice was brave against the threat of the dark music. Kino did not move nor ask for his supper. She knew he would ask when he wanted it. His eyes were entranced, and he could sense the wary, watchful evil outside the brush house. He could feel the dark, creeping things waiting for him to go out into the night. It was shadowy and dreadful, and yet it called to him and threatened him and challenged him. His right hand went to his shirt and felt his knife. His eyes were wide. He stood up and walked to the doorway. So these two paragraphs, we hopefully now, we could say a lot just about these two paragraphs. So let's think a little bit about, imagine we were going to use one of these two paragraphs in our essay. What could we say? What kind of argument could we connect? Let's start with the first paragraph about Juana. What could we argue this paragraph says about her character?
Like she's worried.
Okay, in this moment in the story, she's worried.
Mm-hmm. She could he like hear the song of evil, like she knows what like gonna be maybe dangerous for them or for her family.
Good. So again, Linda's doing a great job sort of explaining or summarizing some of the key ideas. Sorry, I'm trying to get the right page here. Some of the most important information. Okay, I can do it. I can do it, Jeff. I can do it. I am frustrated. Hold on, I'm fighting the computer. Let me do this so that I can actually listen and answer Linda, respond to Linda's great ideas there. $55, there we go, finally. Yeah, so Juana watched him worry, and Linda's saying, Juana can feel the evil outside. Juana is aware of what Kino is thinking and feeling. All of that is analysis. We're not at argument yet, right?
Yeah.
So we could say, so what? What does that tell us about her character, Linda?
That she's caring like a care about her family, or she want to avoid her family from any dangers, like
nice.
She just like want to prevent her family from any dangerous.
Good. I love it. I think Linda said, yeah, she understands her family. She's connected to her family. She knows, right? She says she knew him and she knew she could help him best, right? She's all, we could even say maybe the argument is all of her focus, all of her attention, all of her thinking is all about the family, right? Maybe we could make that argument in this paragraph. Aki, are you there? could you connect this paragraph to the men and women roles? I was thinking about your idea. Could you, is there some women role stuff in this paragraph?
I think so.
I think so too. Can you tell me,
Yeah.
can you tell me how?
Yeah. Women can think, how to say, okay. Opposite, men
Yep.
think, men focus on one thing.
Yep.
But women can focus on not one thing.
Many things.
Good.
Many
Yeah.
things.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Great.
yeah.
And here, and in this quote, what is she focused on? What are the many things she is focusing on, Aki?
So Kino, about
Yep.
Kino, and
Keynote number, what else?
yeah, and so her son.
Ito.
And the baby,
Yeah,
and the baby, and what else?
and house management.
Yep. And in this paragraph, what is she saying here? And as though, Yep, I was gonna say, she's thinking about Kino, she's thinking about Coyotito, she can hear the song, she's sort of thinking about the song and the safety and the warmth of her family. She's, at least in this paragraph, we could say she's thinking about three different things, right? Kino, baby, and family, safety, some of those words that we have in this paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. So in one essay, in one thesis, we could say this paragraph shows that Juana represents traditional women's roles, like focusing on many things at one time, right? Or we could also say, you know, this paragraph shows Juana is a caring and loving person who is focused on taking care of her family. Both of those arguments can be true just from this one paragraph, right? Yeah, really, really nice. So how about this next paragraph? Kino did not move nor ask for supper. What's going on with Kino here? How could we analyze and then make an argument about Kino in the next paragraph? Aki, it's kind of the opposite, huh? What do you notice about Kino in that second paragraph?
On the parallel?
In this one, Kino did not move nor ask for his supper. How many things is Kino focused on in this paragraph here?
Kino focus on only poor.
Yep, on only, I think only one
Money.
thing. Well, and maybe money,
Only
but in
money.
this paragraph, but in this paragraph, he's not thinking about money yet, right? He's saying his eyes were entranced. He could sense the wary, watchful evil outside the brush house. He could feel the dark, creeping things waiting for him to go out into the night. It was shadowy and dreadful. It called to him and threatened him and challenged him. So, and then it says, his right hand went to his shirt to feel his knife. He's thinking about one thing. What's he thinking about?
Poor.
Side terror.
So keeping poor.
Good. Aki's saying keeping the pearl, but imagine you were only if I say I'm thinking about the person outside and I reach for my knife, what am I thinking about? What am I preparing to do?
To kill somebody if you want to attack you.
I was
To
going to say
attack somebody or to
good,
protect his family.
good. Frank says attack, protect. I was thinking just fight. He's thinking about fighting. Right? He's thinking about violence. He's thinking about attacking. He's thinking about protection. Whatever it is, whether it's attacking or protecting. I love that idea, Frank. Maybe we could say he wants to attack. Maybe we could say he's just protecting. That's fine. I love that. Either way, though, he is thinking about fighting. Who's outside? Can I hear? What's going on? Reach for my knife. I'm going to have to stand up. I'm going to have to fight, right?
So full of anger, let's say.
Sure, could be up. Now that would be an argument, right? He's full of anger. He's preparing to fight. He's focused on one thing. And so we could say, Aki, like Aki was saying, this represents traditional male roles, or this represents a traditional man thinking. And even in just from paragraph to paragraph, we've got Juana traditional female, Kino traditional male. That's really interesting and that's really cool. Or I was thinking about Frank saying this paragraph, even though it feels scary and difficult and painful, we could say here, Kino is focused on protecting his family, right? He's a good man, he's a hero, even though he's thinking about violence, it's only to protect his family, right? Both could be true. Both could be true in these examples. But as long as we're, analyzing and making an argument with specific examples from the text, right? Good, really good, really, really cool. Anything else we could say about these two paragraphs? This kind of short activity that we just did, looking at analyzing quotes, this is what I want to get prepared for next week as well. So we'll get some more practice analyzing quotes next week. But does this make sense, sort of how we're doing this? Pick a character, pick an argument, find a quote, and then do your analysis. That's really what you're doing for the essay. So I want to make sure that this new skill makes sense, what I'm asking you to do here. Does it make sense?
Yeah, but I have just like a question on the first paragraph that you read about.
Please.
It, right?
Yeah, of course.
Look, I would just like want to ask you, is this like a the last two sentences argue or analyzing her character? Like she held Tito in her arms and sang the song to him to keep the evil out, and her voice was brave against the threat of the dark music.
Yep.
Is this like we can consider it as argue?
Well, I don't think so, because this is just a fact, right? This is just true in the story. This is just true. Now, actually, let's do this. To answer Linda's question, I'll show you one of the YouTube videos. It's really short. I know we've got just about 10 minutes, but it's worth it because it answers Linda's question. And then it'll be a way for me to make sure we talk about this next week as well. Let me share my sound on the screen. Okay. So I've got two videos in YouTube here, right? Analyzing a character's thoughts and feelings, analyzing character action. Linda's question is about thoughts and feelings. So let's just watch this video and then be prepared to go a little bit deeper on it next week. Because my short answer, Linda, is it's not really debatable, right? It's not an argument. It's because we just know this for a fact. The author tells us this is what she was thinking, right? So let's watch this short video.
Hello, readers. Today we're going to talk about mind reading. Ooh! Also known as understanding characters' thoughts and feelings. I'm kind of serious here. One of the things that I think is magical about reading books and stories is that they let you see what characters are thinking and feeling. Sometimes a story takes you inside the mind of a character in a story. Here's what it sounds like when a character tells you the story herself.
It was a rainy, miserable night in the town of Roseville. My coffee cooled rapidly in the evening air. I watched Johnny Flamingo, the Duke of Crime, walk confidently across the parking lot. I hated him. "I'm gonna get you, Johnny," I muttered. "I'm gonna get you for doing all those crimes."
So how does this character feel about Johnny Flamingo? She hates him. How do we know? She told us so. Sometimes it's not a character who tells you what they're thinking or feeling, but instead it's a narrator who knows how those characters feel. And that can sound like this.
Standing on a hill outside the village, Lana looked to the sky and the dragons that flew through the clouds in lazy circles. "I will learn to ride a dragon," she thought. "I promise."
What does Lana want to learn to do? Ride dragons.
Sorry about that. I don't know. The internet wanted me to leave class, I guess. I don't in the middle of the video. Did you guys see some of the video before my internet cut out?
Yeah. Yeah.
The dragons, the example of the dragons?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we're just at time and we've only got a few minutes, but that is my answer. That we'll finish this next week and it's there for you in the chat. Let me share my screen again here. But that really is my way to answer your excellent question, Linda. When it says in the story, you know, where it says
feeling.
come back to me. Yeah, exactly. That's not really an argument, right? That's just how she feels. So you can sort of say, we know right now that Juana is worried, right? Juana watched him with worry. Juana is worried. That's analysis. That's not an argument, right? That's just true. And she held Coyotito in her arms and sang the song to him to keep the evil out. Her voice was brave against the threat of the dark music. Even though that's not her doing something, we understand, right? That's just the truth. So that would be more like analysis. And then you can say, this shows that she is an amazing mother. Okay. This proves that Juana is an incredible wife. Cool. This shows that Juana is a traditional woman who can focus on more than one thing at a time. Great. Those would be examples of the argument connected to the true things we know that are in the text, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yes.
And like I said, we'll get more practice with this because this is basically what we're doing in the essay. So,
yeah.
Cool. Other ideas or questions? Can't believe the internet cut out with like 3 minutes left in class. That's hilarious. So if you want to finish the video that we just started, both of these videos are short, but really clear and I think really interesting. So both of these are here for you to watch to get more information. And then that longer explainer with another character analysis essay example, just to see more examples of structure, that's there for you in Canvas as well. Cool, that's it. Any other ideas or questions before we wrap it up for today?
No, I'm good.
I'm fine, thank you.
You guys ready to start writing?
Of course.
Yeah, Linda, I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna write every day
write...
five sentences.
There you go. You got 3 weeks. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to give you 3 weeks. Go slow, piece by piece, one sentence at a time, you know?
Yeah. And of course, we're going to bother you about our questions.
Of course, you better. Yeah. And of course, you know, we have such a small class that if you guys bring examples or if you have a paragraph as you start writing and you want to talk about it together in class, we could do that too. Because, you know, we've only got our small group. So lots of fun ways to make sure we finish the semester strong and you know what you're doing, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Professor.
Cool. You've got it. That's it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Text me or email me if you have any questions, okay?
Sure. Take care and stay safe and have a wonderful day.
Thank everybody. Thank
Bye.
you. You too. Bye, Aki. Bye, Linda. Bye, Frank.
Have a nice day.
Bye, Sanad. Thank you, Andre. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye, you all.